all-time scoring record. She's the leading Division I women's career scorer. She, of course, holds all Iowa records. I mean, the list goes on. It's the same thing watching The View. It's the same thing that Jemele Hill said, saying that Caitlin Clark is problematic. All Caitlin Clark has done is sold out arenas, set TV viewership records. She's brought millions of new eyes to women's collegiate basketball and now on to the WNBA. So saying she is problematic, I mean, to me, it sounds like she's the problem solver. And speaking to Jemele Hill.
So the saga that won't end. Caitlin Clark.
Gaines just hyped up Caitlin Clark like she's the next Steph Curry in a ponytail while grabbing a microphone, a megaphone, and maybe a flamethrower and going all WWE on Angel Reese. Is this the episode where we cross over? Sports, unasked for, but vitally necessary. How does swimming relate to basketball rivalry? And why is Twitter exploding like a popcorn maker without a lid? This story is filled with intricate detail.
Liberals who have said for so long, why won't anyone watch the WNBA? Say, well, she's just pretty tall and white. That's what this is. Let's be very clear. Caitlin Clark has gotten the coverage that she has gotten because she's amazing. She's a phenom. The Big Ten all-time scoring record. She's the leading Division I women's career scorer. Holds all Iowa records. I mean, the list goes on. The fact that she is straight, white, tall, or pretty. Might I just add, I think anyone's pretty next to someone like Brittany Griner. This is what the viewers want to see. Is
the clash between social media turmoil and sports sass. If drama were a sport, Riley Gaines would be the referee, the whistleblower, and the most outspoken personality, while Angel Reese would be the undeniable MVP. Combine the whole rules committee into one. Who thought that a former swimmer could get into a basketball match and create more noise than all the vuvuzelas in an NBA arena?
You made a good point. You got Caitlin Clark with all of these stats. Everybody knows that Caitlin Clark is bringing eyeballs to the WNBA. If she was at the All-Star game, the All-Star game would have 10 times the views because everybody want to see how Caitlin Clark performs. You guys have a cash cow, and it's irresponsible to put one of the best.
Since there's really nowhere else to start, let's start with Angel Reese. Angel, the trash talk queen, needs a complete news conference after every hair flip and gives herself a high five after every blink. She's turned post-game interviews into monologues and Twitter into a personal diary of grievances. It's mainly about who gave her the side-eye at breakfast, but you'd think she was battling for justice.
But I don't know who need to hear this, but Angel Reese got to be the worst basketball player ever. She's the worst basketball player ever. Like, do y'all guys don't understand this? She only made 2 points with 12 rebounds. She missed a couple of shots and she missed a rebound, bro. She only made 12 rebounds. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 12 rebounds. And she missed like 4 layups, I think. I don't know. I forgot. But this is nasty work for her, bro. Bro, if she keep playing like this, guess what?
Every game turns into a one-woman stage performance, with Angel replaying the roles of the audience, coach, antagonist, and misunderstood heroine all at once. She has more comebacks than a soap opera villain and more poses than a runway model. And oh honey, if you believe it's only about the game, you're mistaken. Like glitter at a kindergarten birthday party, it's all about the story, the attention, the little dramas, and the big meltdowns that seem to follow her.
The rest of the team, they had 7 practices while Caitlin was still playing with the WNBA. So does this make the decision fair?
Yeah, to your point, the USA basketball chair, the governing board there, their job is to win. It's not about popularity, as it shouldn't be. So let's look at the facts here. Caitlin Clark was the #1 overall draft pick this year. She holds many Big Ten, NCAA records for collegiate.
Just when Angel believes she has the plot figured out, Riley Gaines enters the conversation with the fury of a wrecking ball and the elegance of a ballerina, making a symbolic swan dive. Riley has somehow taken over the drama as though it were a group project, and she is the only one who has read the instructions. She is not even participating in the same sport. She doesn't play either offense or defense, as if she were moderating the Olympic Games of indignation. She is tweeting about fairness and drinking tea while rewriting the entire playbook. Riley's arrival did more than simply stoke the flames. It poured a whole tanker truck's worth of jet fuel onto the basketball. Players burned egos. The nicest part is that she not even required to dribble. The internet plunges into yet another think piece Armageddon as she simply says the silent part aloud, dropping the microphone. Angel is over here attempting to continue hurling insults, like confetti, and acting as though Riley had just taken her parking space at the famous mall. At this point, it's a fight of brands, with Riley being the flawless whirlwind of unrepentant opinions and varsity-level clapbacks, and Angel being the jumbled storm cloud of emotion and Instagram filters. One feeds on controversy, while the other thrives on upheaval. Additionally, they have produced a surreal universe in which basketball and swimming miraculously coexist on the same court, and no one is dressed appropriately.
My teammates count on me for that because second chance opportunities, I'm one of the best rebounders in the country. So I know that's what I can bring to the table every single day. And if I can finish those, that gives a lot of points for us. So I'm just trying to do my job and maximize my job as best as I can. And I know that can lead us to some wins.
The playmaking was there, the rebounding was there, everything was there. She looked like the best player in the WNBA. She looked like the MVP. She looked like a player that she deserves all the attention she's getting because she's doing something nobody else in women's sports is doing. Nobody can capture the attention like Caitlin Clark can capture the attention of the human brain. When I'm watching Caitlin Clark and the shot she's hitting, I'm just like, what the heck? I just have to kind of like stand up and just lock in, like, what am I seeing from this woman? And yeah, man, I could talk about it all.
And despite all at her highlight reel debut, Caitlin Clark is merely consuming threes and nonchalantly making everyone else's problems seem inconsequential. The success of Caitlin Clark somehow became the origin story of Angel's own villain. Clark seems to get more resentful of Ree with each three-pointer he makes, as if she were engaged in Insecurity Quest, the Iowa Chronicles, a video game. Angel would consider it a personal attack even if Clark fired a shot from the moon. Not an angel, she's not making fun of her. She is simply amazing. Presenting Riley Gaines, do you recall the swimmer who became quite agitated? She dedicated her entire post-athletic career to giving TED Talks about sports fairness because she was so fed up with losing to biological guys. You could almost hear Riley cracking her knuckles across state lines when she learned of the Reese vs. Clark story. She has become the one-woman searchlight for everything she believes to be unfair in the sports world. Instead of simply entering the conversation, Riley Gaines jumped right in with the enthusiasm of someone who has been waiting months to declare, "I told you so."
God, somebody stop Angel Reese. She is single-handedly the worst fucking basketball player in history. If you don't go take your little bow wow like Mike first 20 minutes of the movie ass the fuck up out of here, ain't nobody trying to see that shit. It was one part of the game where the motherfucker traveled so much you would have thought she was Moses walking on water, gets all the way to the basket, and still missed the motherfucking layup. Somebody give fucking Reese a goddamn Fisher-Price basket. You would have thought Captain Jack Sparrow was out there playing fucking basketball. No, let me tell you what happened. She realized she makes more money on Instagram and all these fucking endorsements in the last 8 months She
wasn't simply vocal in her support of Caitlin Clark. She essentially, through a ticker tape procession, pulled up the red carpet and anointed Clark the patron saint of competitive ethics during a Broadway play. Beside the Lincoln Memorial, there would be a memorial to Caitlin Clark if Riley had her way. Ree would be stuck there, holding the plaque that read, "Thanks for participating." Angel never takes anything lightly, therefore, it goes without saying that Angel didn't take that lightly. Not even oxygen, not a handshake, not a compliment. Angel triggered her drama thrusters and sent herself into orbit as soon as Riley spoke. All of a sudden, we had stopped discussing basketball. We discussed disrespect, narratives, and whatever catchphrases her PR team could fit into a 280-character tweet. But let's face it, Riley Gaines and Caitlin Clark aren't the true issues here. The problem is that Angel Reese, she acts as though someone has insulted her grandmother and set fire to her birth home whenever someone questions her behavior. This isn't analysis, it's war. When Riley Gaines stood up for Clark Reese, she reacted as though she had been banished from the kingdom of TikTok herself. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, is simply hooping outside and isn't tweeting. Podcasts aren't making her weep.
When the defender grabbed the rebound, Caitlin Clark fouled Angel Reese. Angel Reese fell, and it turned into a whole thing. SportsCenter posted that clip, and I just want to show y'all some of the top comments on that video. She wasn't even going to make the layup. Barely touched her. Reese been working with LeBron's team during the offseason. She was gonna miss that layup anyway. You're gonna ignore Reese pushing someone in their back? Man up. Good job, Caitlin. Good take foul. What a flop. Angel Reese acting like she was gonna make the layup. Notice Reese pushes Clark's teammate first in her back. Clark sees it and returns the favor. Reese then plays victim. Angel Reese hate button. 7,000 plus likes. If y'all go through the comments, they're all saying damn near the same thing. So after reading those comments, I'm like, damn. Is Angel Reese the most hated WNBA player? And what even got us to this point? And I know about all the past stuff that Caitlin Clark and Angel...
She's breaking ankles and dropping buckets like it's her full-time job. After witnessing that, Riley Gaines said, "Yes, this is what true sportsmanship looks like, the irony despite her intense desire for admiration. Angel Reese treats the game like a stand-up routine and ruins every joke. Before it becomes a personality trait, trash talk is entertaining. Fans eventually cease viewing you as self-assured and begin considering you to be draining, and the first person with a large enough platform to say it aloud was Riley Gaines." Naturally, that didn't stop Angel from going all out. Oh no, Angel. Reese would bring a jackhammer and a backhoe to ensure she struck the Earth's core if she were in a hole. She replies to criticism of her antics by performing a TikTok dance, which she describes as empowerment. Yes, Angel and I are the Pope of Dunkin' Donuts, but Riley used the tact of a freight train to take the high road. After showering Clark with flattering compliments that would make a Disney princess blush, she reminded everyone that athletics should be about discipline, effort, and playing the game rather than making it into a one-woman reality show called Keeping Up with Angel. Furthermore, what exactly did Angel anticipate Riley Gaines, the self-described sports ethics referee, seeing her social media posts? The Indiana Fever just played their inaugural game against the Chicago Sky, and everybody applauded, but it wasn't close. It wasn't near. People kept telling me on my timeline that it would be a great game, a close game, a dogfight, and it would come down to the wire. However, it ended up being a 40-point blowout. On the one hand, the game was fantastic, but on the other, it was a little dubious. It was somewhat dubious, however. We were able to witness Caitlin Clark in action. We saw the updated and better Caitlin Clark. I'm excited to provide you guys a breakdown of the movie in this video. She looked stunning. Man, she scored 20 points and achieved a triple-double. She had 4 blocks and shot at it 50% from the 3 of you and about 50% from the field. The defense was present. The defense was present. Riley is allergic to nonsense. That is performed. If a vaccination were available for the clinical experiment would be clout-chasing Riley, she thinks. At last, someone who acts like a professional. After witnessing Caitlin Clark lose 30 points without any drama, here's the kicker, though. The more Angel rebabbles, the more she supports Riley and her followers' claims. It's similar to shouting, "I'm calm," at the top of your lungs to demonstrate your composure. Angel simply digs whenever she stomps her foot. The stories hold deeper. She is currently halfway between a motivational poster for emotional immaturity and self-parody. Clark, however, continues to play without any drama or interviews in which she laments being misinterpreted. No TikToks in which she yells, "They don't respect me," while performing the chicken dance. Angel gets completely crazy because she knows deep inside that she merely scores, wins, and goes home. You can't shout your way into that type of respect, but the true tragedy here is that Angel might be a fantastic indeed. She could. She has athletic ability and a platform that most athletes would sell their shoelaces for, but rather than stepping up to the plate, she stumbles over her own ego. She is so focused on becoming famous that she forgets to be productive, and from 10 miles away, Riley Gaines anticipated it. Gaines is undoubtedly a stunning young woman on the inside as much as on the outside. I've spoken with her on multiple occasions, and she is fighting a valiant battle. She will be remembered as one of the women who made a significant impact on this nation, particularly in relation to the protection of women in sports. I have never seen this woman on Fox News in my life. What are you guys doing? Bro, is this an affirmative action hire? Why do you have someone so uninformed? On your TV station, now Riley's living room most likely has a scoreboard. Caitlin Clark received 1,000 points. 1,000 reasons for Angel Reese. Additionally, Riley simply adds another tally under "told you so" each time Angel logs in to complain. Angel Reese almost mailed Riley a golden invitation because, to put it plainly, she is selling herself, not basketball. Riley didn't even go out of her way to start this argument. Audition every tweet is a Hail Mary for relevance, and every interview is a campaign ad. If not for athletes like Caitlin Clark and vocalists like Riley Gaines reminding the world that skill speaks louder than tantrums, it may have also been successful. Here we have Angel shouting about respect from a corner, oblivious to the scoreboard. Somewhere, Riley is composing her latest open letter to Sanity while enjoying a protein shake. Additionally, Kane Clark has already completed half of one more. Highlight reel perhaps avoids starting a fight with Riley Gaines while Clark is busy burning down the nets. She simply lacks the space to operate in the paint, where she can truly put on a dominant performance on the offensive end in terms of scoring goals, and no matter how loud you shout, it's difficult to drown out the sound of someone else winning her, not necessarily individually, but just as a team. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I watched her attempt to be the facilitator, and I kind of like her in that role, but not to the extent that she's trying to direct traffic to get a post up for Camila Cardardosa when she's guarded by her. Matchup. I can understand that if she's guarded by a smaller player, like a wing or guard. I can understand her trying to direct traffic to get that matchup to occur, but when it comes to attempting to emulate Steve Nash, Van, and Slew, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And for Angel Reese, that may have been the most audible silence of all, since ESPN executives instantly remember how to smile once more when Caitlin Clark is on the court. When someone dares to express humility, ratings rise more quickly than. Angel Reese raises her eyebrow. We're discussing women's collegiate basketball statistics that are on par with the Super Bowl. Reruns begin to air on networks of Antique Roadshow in order to cover the gap in the midst of 300 people and to bewildered pigeons, one of them using a phone. Angel Reese is suddenly out here dropping a double-double. Here's the kicker, though, although Caitlin is over there, garnering more views than a Netflix debut, Reese still believes she is the star and continues to enter press conferences as though she is Beyoncé coming from a global tour. Who is the nation's top player to the media, or myself? As you can see, I believe I am the nation's best player. Alright, who is the nation's second best player? Caitlin Clark or Leah Boston, perhaps. Take the top three. We are, in my opinion, the top three players. That's what I adore. You mentioned that you have a great deal of respect for Caitlin. Yes, I do. Yes, without a doubt. Caitlin and I have been at odds since high school. Since we've been working on it. There is no animosity between us. She's a fantastic player and competitor. Angel is nonchalantly shattering attendance records in corn-fed gymnasiums with concrete bleachers while posting hashtags and thirst traps. It's similar to witnessing someone claim to be the lead in a film where the real star hasn't just taken center stage, the show is them. Together, the popcorn maker and the theater Reese is out here. Power walking in high heels is the basketball equivalent. As Clark appears to have been bitten by a radioactive Larry Bird, she is skywalking. And without any game, Angel's stat lines aren't causing conflict among sponsors. Of course, Reese is furious because they are arguing over Caitlin's next commercial break. When Caitlin sneezes, trending hashtags appear. Angel receives a technical after dunking. Sure, life is unfair, but sports compared to your aunts, sports are crueler. Thanksgiving cooking and Caitlin's supremacy is the unexpectedly spicy filling. This video is about Angel Reese, and I feel like I'm trying to understand her game in terms of how she's going to impact winning on a championship team outside of rebounding. I think we can all agree that whenever I get the chance to watch Angel Reese, I'm never disappointed. She has incredible rebounding skills that doesn't need to be discussed. That's a fact, but when it comes to her other components that help her win, like when she needs to score, it seems like she struggles a lot. I want to say that's because the team is so bad at the pieces that surround her, but Reese keeps strutting like the cameras are following her out of sheer force. The bad news is that they are drawn to every step Clark takes, every wrist flick, every instance in which she transforms a mundane possession into a viral highlight. Although Reese may believe she is dazzling, Caitlin is being tracked by the spotlights. GPS as if she were the last item in the McDonald's bag. Because women's basketball is still fantastic without Caitlin Clark, but it's at its best when she's around. Popcorn popping perfection is unmissable. Moreover, Angel Reese cannot ignore the reality that Caitlin's identity is half of America, is aware of the time tip-off because of the engine, which is the showstopper.